Now that we got the neck all glued up, I'm going to drill through the headstock here, through the veneer, just following the holes here there on the neck. Alright, got them through the veneer. Well, I'm lucky enough to have actually a copy of the guitar that I'm making. This is I think this is an early 1970s Washburn. It's kind of knockoff of Martin, their version. My brother-in-law's in it. This guitar really needs help. Eventually I'm going to fix this up for him. But what's going to help me here is the back of the headstock with the volute diamond that's down here. That's very convenient because it's going to help me, you know, shape this neck. You can see how different, you know, there's the finished, and this has got a ways to go here. But it's nice that I've got this for a reference and I'm not just going off the lines on the plans. Well, this is convenient because I can lay them side by side and really compare the neck of the Washburn knockoff to the neck on the guitar that we're making here. But you can see there's a lot of work shaping the neck that I've got to do. Number one, you can just see how much material they do leave you on the diamond. And here's the diamond over here. So essentially what happens is here's my nut way up here. This isn't even rounded here yet. This has got to take the form of the neck here. And it kind of comes across at a very slight, kind of a C. So probably what I'll do is just draw a line where the nut is here, and just sketch in a very rough, like what would be considered this line here. See, coming across. And I think what I'll do is I'll work on sanding the neck and getting the neck profile, and then I think it'll be easier to do these angles here and finish up the diamond here if I've got the neck to the proper dimensions. And the other thing I noticed is back at the heel stock back here, there's a lot of material, it looks like here, that will be taken off as well. And look how thin the heel cap is here compared to if you were going to put a heel cap on there. So there's a lot of dimension on there. I've actually got a Martin HD 28 upstairs. I'm going to see on that HD 28 if the heel cap's that thin too. Because if it's not that thin, I'm not going to take it down that much. Okay, again, looking at the neck where the nut is, which is right here, is pretty much how far just the standard neck curve goes. So I drew a straight line basically where the nut is here, and then I drew another line. There's in my eye it just looks like there's a little bit of a curve here, so I drew that where this is kind of be easily blended in with the rest of the neck. And then I measured the neck on the Washburn. I don't know if you can see this at the first fret. It's 880 thousandths. My neck unfinished is 97 thousandths. Fifth is 94 thousandths. Mine is 96. Seventh is 960. Mine's 980. And I went to the 10th because that's just in front of the heel block or the heel cap down at the end where it slowly transitions to the neck. Theirs is 995 thousandths and mine is 1.100 thousandths. What I'll do with, I think the way I'm going to work this with those figures, we'll make a mark here on the neck at all those positions that I measured, And then I still got to think about this, but I think what I might do, got a pretty heavy rasp here, I might just take each of those positions down, you know, almost to those numbers, not quite all the way. I'm thinking, you know, maybe leave myself, you know, 5/1000ths or so. So what that'll do is it's going to give us these like U indentations in the neck at these positions. And by then sanding the neck and meeting those valleys, you know, making it smooth where those valleys meet, that should give us the proper, you know, neck width there in the middle. And then I can work on slowly, you know, getting a nice taper or a nice U shape or V shape. I guess it's a U shape on this. Not U, but maybe C shape. You know, just make the neck feel good, and try and match that the washburn. All right, so I marked the neck. Here's the first fret. I'm going to mark here. I actually ended up doing the 3rd fret. There was too much space between the 7th and the 1st, so I put a mark in for the 3rd, 7th. Let's see, 1, 3, 7, 9, or 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 10. What I decided to do also to the finished washburn numbers, I'm going to add 15/1000ths, which ain't much. That's it right there. The reason I'm going to do that is because once this neck is installed and it's actually on the guitar, I'm going to put it in that jig, the early wind jig, and get everything absolutely straight, and then just one more time flatten, not flatten, but radius the board, and just make sure there's no humps, there's no bumps or anything like that before we do the fretwork. Because the more perfect the board is, the better the fret job will be and the nicer the guitar will play. And what that extra 15/1000ths will leave me is a little room there, because as I say, it's not very much, it's just a little room there that allows me to take off a little bit more of the ebony on the fretboard. Well, I'm starting to shape the neck, and I took my rasp here, and where the first fret is, I made an indentation and took it down about the dimension of the neck, what I want on the neck. When I look at the, as we go down the neck, we're actually not too far off on these. And the more I started, I bought what's called a spoke shave, but I think the neck's already pretty well complete. I'm not going to have to hardly use this at all. I've just used this a little bit to take down the diamond in this area, and I'm getting really close to I think the point here. I'm not even going to really need this. I'll just go to the scraper, and I think this is primarily used where you've got to shape the entire neck from like a solid block, you know. So I've got the diamond down fairly decent, and the mahogany is soft enough that just the scraper is working pretty well. So I'm going to work up around the first fret here, and like where the nut is, this should be a curve, just a nice smooth curve here like it is on that washburn. So I think what I'll do is just kind of work on that for a bit. You know, just take it slow with the scraper here, and just get a nice profile. I'm starting to scare myself a little here. It almost feels like I know what I'm doing. See, here's the first line. This is, see, I got to get rid of this diamond all in here, because this really should just be, this should be all neck right here. So this is still way too high, so just going to keep working at that. The scraper really does a pretty good job bringing this down. start from here. I got the front part of the neck with the diamond here pretty well roughed in, and you know, the shape of the neck, this is down to about where the nut is. We've got that all round. Now this down here is much lower. There's a big hump right here because I took this down with the rasp, and I'm going to blend it in with just using the scraper because this seems to work pretty good. I'll just kind of concentrate down here until I start getting down a little bit closer to this, and I'll just, you know, work my way up a little bit so that we have a nice, this part of the neck will be a little bit thinner here than up here. This part of the neck up here, actually we're pretty close to the dimensions on that washburn, so I don't want to take too much material off up here. I want to take it off mostly from the first right here and just kind of taper it. I actually didn't come out bad. I got it roughed in. I used the rasp and the scraper. So it's pretty good, and I like the way the diamond's looking. You can see, you know, we've got the curve here right on around, which is kind of matching that. So I'm going to quit for now. Next step will be just there's a few angles and things get blended in here on the headstock, but I'm not going to do that tonight. And then back here, this line's too sharp. It's just got to be blended in, and I'll use the scraper and just some sandpaper. I'm going to get some sandpaper with probably like a foam. I think I got a foam backer so it kind of conform to the neck, but just feeling the neck too, it feels pretty good. So I just took my time. I don't think it was beginner's luck. It's just you just take it slow and you keep checking your progress and looking at it, and it was nice that I had the other guitar here to compare it to. But other than down here, I really wasn't looking at the other guitar much. It's just, you know, as you're going, you can kind of see where you want to use sand and remove material. So it was actually kind of fun. I've got the neck pretty well sanded, and it's just about the final shape. So I'm going to work on the inlay next. And the other few guitars that I've built, I've used a pyramid for like the inlay up on top, and then I put like 3 stars kind of mimicking Orion's belt. So this is the pyramid shape here that I copied off of one of my other guitars, and I've got some really beautiful pearl, mother of pearl here, very white. I also had pearl, it was yellow, and I've got some abalone, but I think I want to do this in the I'm going to do this in the white. So I've got a few pieces here. I'm going to use the smaller piece because that's a small part, so I won't be cutting this large one. So what I'll do is get a little bit of adhesive and stick it to the pearl here. Alright, to cut this out, I'm using like a pearl saw, and I've got a little block of wood here to hold it. I'm just kind of going close to lines because these are so straight. I'm just gonna, when I'm done cutting it out, I'll true it up on the granite table. Well, there it is. It's a pyramid. I'll just true it up. Tell you, I don't know how those guys at Inlay, those vine motifs, on the fretboard, that is one heck of a lot of work. Just this little guy took a little bit, but these are pretty darn close to the line, so I'll just true it up over here like I say on the 320 grit. Alright, there it is with the sharp edges just off the table. So next step will be to figure out where we want on here, and I'll make a hold it there, and just like we did the inlay on the fretboard, I'll make a mark around it and then route out where it's going to go. I just measured the thickness of the headstock, and it's 665, and you know we got to get it down to 625 or 5/8 or somewhere close to there. So I didn't want to do the inlay yet because that's quite a bit of material to take off. And I was using the tuners that I'm going to put on, and if you you know, just playing around with these and the washers and the bushings, I can tell it's a little too thick. So I'm just going to work on sanding this down. I think I'll get it down around 635, somewhere around there, and then we'll do the inlay. Alright, that's pretty good. I got this down to about 645 thousandths, which is only, we got to get down to 625, so we're pretty close. So that'll let me put the inlay in here and just do a little bit of sanding to it, and we should be pretty good to go. Alright, that's what it would be like with the pyramid and the 3 stars. The thing with the headstock on this is obviously it's a Martin copy, and the guitars upstairs that I made, the one has a curved headstock, so I was actually able to put the stars a little higher. So I think what I'll do is take a couple pictures of this, send it to my brother, so we'll either go this way, or I won't do the stars and we'll just center, you know, just kind of center the pyramid somewhere here. Center it, something like that, without the stars. So I'll see which way he wants to go. Alright, the verdict's in. We're going to do the pyramid and the stars. I just took the stars off, and I made 3 little marks here that I can line my drill up with. So I'll pop those in first here. Alright, and just like we did the fretboard, I'm just going to put a little bit of Type Bond on the back of this pyramid here. And I made some marks so I know where I had it. Made some marks again. And I'll just let that kind of set up, and I can trace around it. I traced around the pyramid, and I'm all set to route out just like we did on the fretboard. Alright, there it is. I got it in, and you know, I routed close to the lines, as close as I could with the Dremel tool, and then again I just used the really tiny chisels to kind of get into the points and the corners, just to clean everything up. Let's see if I can, yeah, there we go. It's actually out of there. You see the white here though? that's the laminate. The ebony, it was just like the perfect depth that I just got down to the laminate on that fiber that we used. You can even see it like on the stars that I drilled. You can see a little bit of the white there. So we're pretty good. We should be able to glue these in. Let's start with the stars, and I'm going to actually put a little drop of the black super glue. We'll see how this works. A little different than when I did the fretboard. Cover with plastic so it doesn't splash here. That's pretty good. Sure, good. I'll just let that dry, and then we'll sand it down to the pyramid there. It's just a little below the wood. Alright, I sanded the headstock once with 220, got it down to 220, and there was still some gaps that I could see on the pyramid, so as you can see I put some more black super glue on there, and then I'm going to let that dry overnight and get set up, get hard, and then I can sand it in the morning. So I think that's about it right now. I'm going to post this because the neck's pretty well done, except for sanding that and taking the neck down to I'll finish sanding it to 220 grit. Then I've got to put the heel cap on, but we want to do that on the body, on the guitar. So we'll do that separately. So I'm going to post this. Yeah, I'm sure there's quite a bit on here.